Why, hello. Happy Real Talk Tuesday, family. How are you doing today? I hope you're having an amazing day. Welcome to Messages You Can Pay For. And I'm so excited that you are here today and you are joining me in our incredible, illustrious all-star panel because, family, you already know the vibes, right? It's Real Talk Tuesday, right? And we always say, don't meet us here, beat us here. So if you're listening to the sound of my voice, you are here. And when I tell you, because I'm going to go ahead and share right now what we're doing today, right? So I am live, family, from Austin's first institution of higher learning and only HBCU, Houston Tillotson University. And we only have 60 minutes. So in 60 minutes, as promised, I'm going to share who our incredible, illustrious all-star panelist is with you. Then we're going to do our learning objectives. Then we're going to play a little game around Big Futures Real Talk known as Big Facts or Big Cap. Then we're going to get into how to find colleges you can pay for. And then fam, because this is family, right? We listen and we really appreciate all of your invaluable feedback. And you know what your feedback shared with us over the past few months? Family, you said you wanted more questions answered. So we have an amazing group of volunteers from Big Future and College Board who are right now working behind the scenes to answer all of your amazing questions. So go ahead and start sending those in. And then we're also doing a question lightning round, okay? So we're going to have 3 incredible rounds of answering as many questions as we possibly can, all right? So family, let's get going because we have an illustrious all-star panel in the building. Stacy, Atua, hello ladies, can y'all hear me? How are y'all doing?
Doing great. Yes, I can hear you fine.
All
I
right.
can hear you too.
All right. Well, I'm happy to have y'all both on today's Real Talk Tuesday. And so what I would love to know, and I'm going to start with you, Stacy, is I would love to know what is your hometown, where you attended college, and what do you do at College Board?
Awesome. Okay, hometown. I live outside of Atlanta. Those who are from Atlanta know that's you can live really outside Atlanta about an hour and still consider yourself in Atlanta. So I am in Atlanta. I earned my bachelor's degree from Dartmouth College in New Hampshire, which is how I ended up in Atlanta because it's really cold in New Hampshire. And then at College Board, I'm a director on the counselor community engagement team. We service counselors are our caseload, basically, where we develop all of the professional development, resources, advocacy, and we're a team of all former school counselors.
All right. Thank you very much, Stacy. All right. Atua, how are you doing today?
I'm fine. How are you?
I'm golden. I'm golden. I was living my life like it's golden for those of you who are just got there. That's what I was thinking in my mind. I'm golden. Atua, would love to know hometown, where you attended undergrad, as well as what you do for KIPP Atlanta Collegiate.
My name is Atua Amu. I am born and raised in Decatur, Georgia. So as Stacy mentioned, it is outside of Atlanta. I don't claim Atlanta. It's not Atlanta. I claim Decatur. I went to Georgia Southern University, which is a predominantly white institution, about 3.5 hours away from Atlanta. I got my bachelor's degree in multimedia communications, and I am a director of post-secondary counseling at KIPP Atlanta Collegiate. So we teach college and career readiness for 9th through 12th grade. So I lead a team of 5, and they have a college and career readiness course for every grade level.
All right. That's wonderful. And I think there's a song about some places not Atlanta, but I'm going to let that sit, ladies. All right. Let's go ahead and get into it. Okay. So, Sam, our learning objectives, we have 3. The first one is we're going to learn how to compare colleges with money in mind based on net price and financial aid. So our objectives, family, as you're thinking through tonight's event, is by the time we finish this event, you should have these 3 things in mind and have a way to start thinking through this as you help your team for that right first step after high school. So, number one, learn how to compare colleges with money in mind based on net price and financial aid. Number two, help you understand how graduation rates and retention rates should factor in your college decision. And number three, mentally reframe how you view finding colleges you can pay for. Now, fam, we're real intentional over at Real Talk when it comes to thinking through what it means to mentally reframe. Stacey, can you make that connection for us? How do we process and mentally frame finding colleges you can pay for from that caring adult and parent perspective?
Absolutely. I would almost change the phrase to help us reframe it. So many times we think about, the dollar price, the dollars matter, right? But you have to almost begin with the college part first, and then we can focus on how you pay for it. That's what I would say in terms of mentally reframing it, because many times we'll start with looking at how much it costs rather than starting with a college that's a good fit. So that's what I would say in terms of reframing.
All right. Thank you very, very much, Stacey. And Real Talk fam, you will see all throughout our event today QR codes. And think of those as little Easter eggs that are going to help you find the resources on Big Future that we're talking about. So if you're wanting to connect right now with bigfuture.org, you can go ahead and snap that QR code. If by some chance you don't get that QR code, don't worry. At the end of our event, we'll run back all the QR codes. So don't worry. All right, let's go ahead. Atua and Stacey, y'all want to play Big Facts or Big Cap? Are y'all good with that?
Yes.
You good?
Absolutely.
Okay. You good? All right. So before we play Big Facts or Big Cap, Atua, can you help us out? What exactly is Big Cap? Okay.
Big cap means that it is false, it is untrue. Don't believe it. It is just no.
Mm-mm. It's not standing on business, is it?
It is not.
All right. So let's go ahead and get started with the first one. You should make your college decision based on the sticker price. Is that big facts or big cap, ladies? What do y'all have for me? Okay, I
Definitely
see that.
big cap.
That's big cap. And when we do that in front of our arms, an X in front of our arms, family, that's big cap, right? If it's facts, they'll let us know with thumbs up. All right, why is that big cap, Stacey?
I would say that is big cap because you don't know what the actual cost to attend that college is going to be until you've gone through the entire process. And so many times our students will look at that sticker price, make a decision, and move on if they think it's too expensive. But they don't know what the actual cost will be for them until they've gone through the whole thing. And we'll talk about that some more later too. But yeah, that's why.
All right. Thank you, Stacey. That is absolutely big cap. Let's get to the next one, ladies. You should make your final college decision after you receive your first offer. Big facts, big cap. Ooh, I agree. I concur. Why is that big cap, Atua?
So you shouldn't make a decision without doing a little shopping. So you wouldn't go to a car dealership and buy the first car that you see sight unseen. So you want to make sure you do some comparison shopping, get multiple offers before you make that final decision. So that is big cap.
All right. Thank you. And, the professor in me wants to go back for a moment, right? Because I always think it's important that we define the terms. And we mentioned in this statement earlier, which was big cap, about sticker price. Atua, Stacey, what exactly, and we'll get into this a little bit later, but what exactly is sticker price and how does that pertain to college? I heard Atua talking about purchasing a car. There's a sticker price that's associated with that. How does that relate to college?
So sticker price, when I'm thinking about sticker price, it's that all the costs that when you go to the college's website or even on Big Future, you're going to see cost of tuition, books, travel, all the things is sticker price. But what that doesn't include is any of the aid that you might get.
Okay. So we're going to talk about that a little bit later, right, Stacey and Atua?
Absolutely.
All right. Okay. So questions, and more questions. Fam, please go ahead and send our questions. And I just want to say we have to give a super shout out to Aaliyah, Dean, Andrea, Raish, Gigi, and Gina, who are answering questions behind the scenes. And Atua and Stacey, y'all good with us taking one question right now?
Sure.
Please.
All right, let's do it. And this is for Maya, okay? Maya, I hope you're having a good night. Maya wants to know, should I be scared of having college debt? Great question, Maya. Should I be scared of having college debt?
You want to take that one, Atua?
Absolutely.
Okay.
So I don't feel that you should be scared of college debt. I think that it sometimes can be necessary for certain institutions. But what I will challenge you with, Maya, is to do your research with the different types of loans that are offered. You always want to start with the first, your free money first. So your grants, your scholarships, your work study, and then consider loans. But don't be afraid of debt. It may be within your budget.
All right. Well stated. Well stated.
Can I add something to that, Autumn?
Absolutely, Stacey. Absolutely.
And also, when you get your award letters, and you might have X number of loans that have been made available to you, only use what you need. So you want to, if you're going to take on college debt, make sure you're taking it on responsibly and not just taking all the dollars if you don't need it. So that way you're not accruing more debt than you really need to.
All right. Well stated. All right. Let's go ahead and let's talk about how to find colleges you can pay for. Stacey, can you walk us through what we see in front of us right now?
Sure. So the first one I kind of alluded to a little bit earlier. Don't take yourself out of the game too fast. So many times, especially in our community, we're worried about, and understandably, we're worried about the cost of college, as alluded by Maya in that question. But when we're doing our college research and we're looking at the price of a college and we see that sticker price, right? And we automatically say, nope. Parents, we say, no, you cannot apply there. It's too expensive. Don't do that is my guidance, because again, you don't know what that college is going to cost in terms of your contribution until you've applied to the college, gotten into the college, submitted your FAFSA and any other financial forms that are necessary for that college, received your financial aid award, and then, as Atua mentioned earlier, putting things side by side, looking at comparison shopping, what your offers are. So that doesn't even happen until second semester of your senior year, but your application process begins in the fall. So don't take yourself out of the game too fast. And I know we're talking about money, but I'm also going to say the same thing as it relates to GPAs and test scores. When you're looking at these college profiles and you see an average, if yours falls somewhat below that, don't take yourself out of the game, because that number means there are students above that number, there are students below that number. So if it's a school you're really interested in, don't take yourself out of the game too fast just off of one quick glance at their profile.
All right. Thank you, Stacey. Keep going. Yeah. I'm nodding and agreeing.
The second thing I would say is your dream school can become reality, and that starts as early as possible. So if we have parents of ninth graders or ninth graders out there, even if we have some eighth graders out there, that's when you start building this dream about the school that you want to go to. They are going to want to see, the courses that you've taken, that you've done well. And all that begins early on. Start thinking about, what is this dream school? Start thinking about what you want your college experience to look like. And that doesn't begin senior year. So you start building towards that in your early years. And that goes hand in hand with number 3, start now, don't wait. Even if you're a senior, I used to have, and two, I don't know if you have these, you probably don't, but back when I was counseling, I used to have what I used to call my super procrastinators, my seniors this time of the year, still haven't done what I told them to do last year. Even now, my seniors, if you have not applied, if you haven't completed your FAFSA, if you haven't even started it's not too late, but get started now. And for my younger students, it's okay to start looking now. It's okay to start researching, exploring, go visiting, because again, in order for us to figure out what colleges your parents are going to pay for, you have to start thinking about what that college looks like, and you want it to be a good fit for you. And then my last piece of advice on this slide is talk to your school counselor now. Atua and I both are school counselors. Yes, we're busy. Yes, counselors have large caseloads, but that doesn't mean that we don't have time for you. It's important that you get to know your school counselor. Meet with them at least once a year, juniors and seniors more than that, because you want to make sure that everything is on track. If you have questions, you want to go to your school counselor because that's a trusted source. They know this process. So even if you're a ninth grader, it's okay to go talk to your counselor now if you have questions about this overwhelming process, so that when you are a senior, you're good to go. You know how everything is working, and it just helps ease the anxiety around it.
All right, thank you, Stacy. And let's go ahead and let's continue, right? Because Stacy's given us some good advice about going to our school counselors, but also can you talk to us about why we would start talking to our financial aid offices now of an institution that we may be interested in?
I'm going to actually put an asterisk on that word now. Because now is not the time, I don't think, for anybody in any grade level, because they are managing this new better FAFSA right now. So I wouldn't say call your financial aid offices and bombard them right now. They're trying to do their very best for the senior class to get those letters and awards ready in the best way they can and as soon as they can. So that does not apply to this moment right now. But really what I'm referring to in number 5 is if there's a college that you're interested in and you're a younger student, and if they are putting on events educating you about the financial aid process, even if you're not a senior, it's okay to go, even if you're a younger student. The sooner you get education about the financial aid process, the better. If your school is putting on something where they've invited financial aid officers in, go to it. You don't have to be a junior or senior to go to those. The more you learn, the better you will feel as you get older in your high school career. And then for those, I'm really going to put this on juniors because, like I said, seniors, your process right now is wonky. But for my juniors, when you're a senior, if you have questions about the process or about your award letter, don't be afraid to reach out to the financial aid officers. They are there to help. They are there to serve you, and they want you at the school. So if you have questions, don't be afraid to ask. That's what I mean by that now. So I'm going to say that other part again. I don't mean get on the phone tomorrow morning and start bombarding the financial aid offices about why don't you have your letter right now, because they are working to get it to you as fast as they can. Number 6, be all the way involved in your high school experience. So many times in Atua, you might have the same experience. I would have juniors or seniors come sit down in front of me, and now they want to talk about how to make their application stand out. The time to do that is when you're 8th, 9th grade. Start getting involved in things that you're interested in. Don't just stack on activities because you think quantity is going to be impressive. Admissions officers see right through that. Quality, what are your passions? What are your interests? And start doing that throughout your high school career. That's what I mean by being all the way involved. Because when you get to college, they have activities. They want a full, rich campus with students doing things. And so they're looking for that well-rounded student. Number 7, Autumn mentioned Big Future. Though I work for College Board, I used Big Future when I was in the schools. And it's by far my favorite tool, and it still is. They have almost 25,000 scholarships in their search tool and their scholarship directory. Go to bigfuture.org, play around, parents. There's a tab for Pay for College. Just get on there. Everything is free. So get on there, look at the scholarship searches, the directory, learn about our Big Future scholarships, which Autumn is going to talk about later. But you, as a parent, go on there and start learning about the resources that we have out there, because there's a wealth of information on there. And then explore the college profiles that we have. I don't know the number for the college profiles, but we have a lot. We have HBCUs on there. We have the Common Black application on there where you can apply through that. Use the resources that are available to you on Big Future because they're out there free, and they're great resources.
Thank you, Stacy. And
Sure.
I'm going to go ahead and share. Stacy gave us so much information. I'm going to share my screen, family, and just bring you up to speed with what Stacy was sharing, okay? So give me 1 second. All right, and let's go ahead and take a look at the screen. Okay, so right here, you go on to bigfuture.org. You'll see one of the tabs that Stacy was talking about. Go to our Pay for College, right? You can get a lot of insight here in terms of an actual article about financial aid, get help paying for college. That's all here, as well as our scholarship search and scholarship directory. And we'll talk about Big Future scholarships as well. So this is all here, family, okay? And then Stacy was mentioning also when you're kind of thinking about that institution, right? Thinking about how many colleges we have, right? In terms of profiles to explore. So I'm going to go ahead because Stacy, we talk about graduation rates and we talk about retention rates, and those matter, right? When we're thinking through that college and what we should pay for and how to find a college we can pay for. Can you talk to us, and I'm on Spelman right now, can you talk to us a little bit more as it pertains as to why we should think about graduation rate or retention when we're thinking that college, that next step?
Absolutely. I think when we do college searches, we're very used to looking up some of the major data, right? We look up SAT, we look up GPA, we look up at cost of college. But it's also important that as parents and students, you're also looking at the data around graduation rate, right? Because not only is it important to you that you get in or that your child gets in, but it's also important that they graduate. So look at that data and look at that percentage. What percentage of the students that start are finishing? Most of the data is going to be based on a 6-year graduation rate now, but you want to look and see what that rate is. You also want to look at the retention rate. So that's the percentage that's telling you how many are coming back for that sophomore year. I think that one is especially important too, because if that retention rate for coming back to sophomore year is low, that means there might be something going on at that college where freshmen are not feeling supported, aren't getting what they need to be successful. So you want to see a good retention rate and a good graduation rate as well.
All right. Thank you very much, Stacy. And Real Talk fam, you can see that, right, by searching by college name, going to the academics tab, looking at graduation rates. We see for Spelman it's 76%. We also see the retention rate is 89%, and you can see majors available, students to faculty ratio, and additional insight about the particular college profile. All right. Thank you very much, Stacy.
Mm-hmm.
All right, fam. So, you know what? I think we need to go ahead and take a question. And then Atua, we're going to talk and really get into a formula, Atua, that I need you to deconstruct and break down for us. But let's go ahead and get a question, okay? We have a lot of good questions out here, Atua and Stacy. Let's see. Okay. All right. Cheryl wants to know, what factors should we look for when we're looking for colleges?
Well, I can take that one. You definitely want to start with careers in mind. So align your major with the specific career. So let's say you're interested in becoming a veterinarian. You want to ensure that they have like some sort of biological sciences program that they offer at that specific college. Now, some schools don't offer certain majors, and I advise scholars to just take a look at the program offerings at the college.
All right. Thank you, Atua. And let's go ahead and let's talk a little bit more about cost of attendance. What does that mean? And walk us swiftly through it, please.
Sure. So when we talk about the sticker price, the cost, what we mean is mainly the cost of attendance. Every school is required to publish an annual budget that they call the cost of attendance. And it includes direct charges to the school. So things like tuition, fees, if you're living on campus, housing, meal plans, those are things that are directly paid to the school or direct costs. Now, you also have to include indirect costs. So let's say you're in one state and your number one school is out of state. That transportation to get to and from campus has to be considered when you're thinking of indirect costs. Books are considered indirect costs. Every course more than likely requires a book, but you don't have to purchase that book from the bookstore. So they do give an annual budget for indirect costs for books. So they take all of that into consideration and they come up with their annual cost of attendance. For net price, it says focus on the net price and not the sticker price. So they take their cost of attendance. Every school has a different cost of attendance. Your financial aid is important to you. It is your financial aid. It is your eligibility. So when you submit the FAFSA, you send your financial aid eligibility to those colleges and institutions, and they deduct that from the cost of attendance to determine your net price. So they deduct your scholarships, they deduct your grants, they deduct your work study to determine what the net price is for that school. So your sticker price is the full budget, the full cost of attendance. The net price is after everything is calculated, your in-state scholarships, your federal money, your grants, then they determine the net price. And then what is a net price calculator? So net price calculators are required for every school, and Big Future has an amazing net price calculator tool where you can actually determine, hey, what's the estimate of what I may owe to a school before I decide to borrow loans or decide to make a payment plan to pay off that balance at that school. Now,
for a second, if you don't mind, I need to understand though, why should I focus on the net price and not the sticker price? Because the sticker price kind of scares me.
It can, and it can be daunting. You can see a $75,000, you can see a $50,000 per year and think, whoa, that school is too expensive for me. but we have to factor in your eligibility as a family, your eligibility as a student. And so we want to make sure that our families are determining their net price before they even count or discount a school or not consider a school, because that sticker price is an estimate. It's an estimate for all different scholars, and everybody's eligibility is different.
All right, thank you, Atua. I didn't mean to cut you off, but I had to know. Burning question.
Okay. And then for federal student aid, so we mentioned the FAFSA, which is the free application for federal student aid. So every senior family, every current college student should submit the FAFSA every year. And it helps to determine federal money. So money is stackable. You can combine federal money, you can combine state money, independent scholarships, local scholarships to help fund and help to cover that net price. So when you submit the FAFSA, the free application for federal student aid, you're applying to see if you get grants, federal scholarships, work study, which is that on-campus job, and loans. So we did talk about loans a little bit earlier. They will help you determine if you qualify for certain need-based loans or non-need-based loans that come from the federal government. Now, you all are in various states, like I'm in the state of Georgia. We have state funding through the Georgia Lottery called the HOPE program. So in addition to Pell Grant that you may receive from the federal government, you could qualify for HOPE, which is here within the state of Georgia, and that could pay for a big chunk of that net price, or that a big chunk of that cost of attendance could be paid for through federal and state money. So don't rule out any of your options.
All right. I tell you, Stacy and Atua, y'all are doing what needs to be done, okay? It's 4 + 4 = 8. It's leaving no crumbs. So I think we need to go ahead, fam. And I promised that we were going to debut our lightning round. All right. Stacy, you ready? Atua?
I'm ready.
Y'all ready?
Ready.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. Let me go ahead, and we actually have a timer. Okay, so you know it's official. Put the timer up so you know it's official. Let me share my screen. Ladies, please go ahead, stretch, because I'm about to share this screen and we're about to get started. Let me catch my breath and get the first question ready. Here we go. And ladies, just feel free to chime in. 8 minutes. Let's go. This is from a caring parent. As a parent who I have a son looking for college, I'm concerned about my personal credit. We're working on our debt because we want to support our son. Are some decisions for entering college based on if parents can afford the school?
So I'll take that question. There is a question on most applications that asks if you plan to apply for financial aid, but they are not checking your credit. They are not saying, hey, your credit is this way, or you may have adverse credit. They're not considering that. But there is a question on a lot of applications that asks, do you plan to apply for financial aid?
All right. Thank you, Atua. Pamela wants to know, how may we set aside money for housing? Do we need to be concerned if a school can't promise housing for upper class?
Okay, I'll take that one. It's never too late or never too early to start saving. So if you're doing a 529 plan or something of that nature where you're setting money aside, whether it be for housing, books, tuition, go ahead and save, because again, by the time you get that financial aid award letter, you can make a better determination about how you want to spend that savings. But yes, go ahead and save for it. And yes, there are going to be some colleges that will guarantee housing for freshmen. Others do not. So again, that should just be a part of your research process if that is something that is of critical nature to your decision making and what colleges go on the list.
All right. Thank you, Stacy. Wonderful question, Pamela. Janelle wants to know, what is considered a good retention and graduation rate?
Okay, I'll take that one. Don't look for 100%, I would say. But this can vary again, depending on the school. The main thing you want to look for is that I would say the majority of the students are persisting through college, but also keep in mind your student. If you have that star student, you know they're going to do fine wherever they are, then that percentage might not be as critical. Because you know they're going to be fine wherever they are. But if you have a student who somewhat struggles and they need that support, you're going to want to look for rates that are a little bit higher because they're going to need that support through college. So that's a hard one to put a number on. It's kind of one of those it depends answers. So.
All right. Thank you, Stacy. Rebecca wants to know, in order to set a good pace, how many scholarships should a junior in high school try to apply for each week in the spring of their junior year and over the summer? Oh, that's specific. How many scholarships should a junior in high school try to apply for each week in the spring of their junior year and over the summer?
I can take that one. So depending on the scholarships that are available, there are some scholarships that are offered to juniors, sophomore, and freshmen. But once you reach senior year, I'm going to say at least 3 per week. Now, it can be after school, it can be over the weekend, but dedicate some time. I'm an educator. I'm going to give you homework. I expect that you apply for this number of scholarships. You won't know unless you apply. So I do have some seniors who are waiting on scholarships or waiting to apply to scholarships. Be proactive. Already have that list going into senior year of the scholarships that you want to apply for, and then dedicate time. At least 3 per week would be good once you start fall semester.
I love that, Atua. And that gets to the point earlier Stacy made. Don't count yourself out yet, right? Give yourself that chance, family. All right. Michelet would like to know, are you able to negotiate sticker price or merit scholarships with the college university?
I'll take that one, and then Atua, you might want to piggyback or add to it. Negotiating sticker price, I'm going to venture to say that that's a no. That's letting you know what the cost is to attend that college. But what you can sometimes negotiate, again, a lot of the answers around financial aid are it depends because there's so much variation in each situation. But if you get an award letter where you really want to go to this college and your award letter is just shy of what you need, again, it's okay to call that financial aid officer and let them know your circumstances and see if there's something that they can tweak or suggest or add to make it more available for you to attend that college. Atua, do you have something you want to add to that?
Absolutely. And if you know, families, that your income has changed and it is not reflected, like let's say you made significantly less than what is reflected on your taxes, you can always go reach out to the financial aid office and ask for a special circumstance or professional judgment, where they take another look at your pay stubs and determine whether or not you qualify for more in need-based aid. So as Stacy said, it depends, but don't be afraid to reach out to the financial aid office to advocate and potentially get more in scholarship dollars.
Thank you, Stacy and Tua, on that one. All right, this is Real Talk. So Lakeisha wants to know, should I accept the less expensive college? Question mark.
Oh, I want to take that one.
Not
necessarily, right? Number one, you can take the least expensive college, right? But number one, is that college a good fit for you? Is that a place that feels like home for you for the next 4 years? If that college is not a good fit for you, regardless of how inexpensive it may be, it's not going to be the best experience for you. You want to remember that college is about more than just the price tag. It's important, but find a college that's a good fit for you academically, socially, and financially. All of those things matter for you to have a good experience in college.
Well stated. Thank you, Stacy. Adriana would like to know, if you get a full ride to a college, does that mean everything will be covered for as long as you attend? Or does that mean that everything will be covered for 4 years?
It depends. To Stacy's point, it depends. So you definitely want to take a look at the terms and conditions of the scholarship. So some scholarships can be full cost of attendance. for you to get your bachelor's degree. Some may say this, this is renewable up to 4 years. It really depends on the specific scholarship and their terms and conditions.
Okay, we have 38 seconds. Let's see if we can get this last question in. Atanika wants to know, what is a good way to determine the return on investment on a certain degree?
Research. You're just going to have to get on these sites, check out the career compared to how much you're spending. That's a research and that's not a 10-second answer. But Tua, you have 10 seconds. You can add to it.
Definitely research, utilize your counseling office. If you have maybe economics instructors or career counselors within the building, and I apologize, the time is up, but definitely do your research and determine whether or not that career and that major will be lucrative for you, if it will have the type of income and earning potential that you're looking for. It takes research. It takes a lot of research.
Ooh, ladies, can y'all clap for yourselves for a minute? I'm just saying, come on. Real Talk fam, if you're at home, go ahead and clap for Stacey and Atua on this. 8 minutes, y'all. We're answering questions, all right? So while Atua and Stacey take a well-deserved break, family, okay? Well-deserved break. I want to make sure that I share with you a little bit more about our Big Future scholarships, okay? So family, over at Big Future, we want students to take key steps during high school that can push them ahead. So we actually incentivize high school students to take those steps with our Big Future scholarships. Stacey shared a little bit about that earlier. So students who complete steps like starting a career list or building a college list or even starting their scholarship list on Big Future can win in the scholarship drawing. We award 2 $40,000 scholarships and multiple 500 scholarships per month. And fam, this is real talk, and I'm really proud to share this. Since we've started Big Future Scholarships, we've awarded over $18 million worth of scholarships to over 21,000 students across the country, okay? So I love to share that because that is standing on business, and that is absolutely big facts. If you want to learn more about our Big Future Scholarships, go ahead and tap that QR code in the corner. Atua, are you ready for round 2?
Absolutely.
Atua's like, look, stay ready. You don't have to get ready. Stacey, you ready?
I'm ready.
All right, let's go ahead and let's get to round 2. Whew. I'm tired, I'm answering the questions. Okay, ladies, I'm trying to read as fast as I can. All right, let's go ahead. We're going to put 8 minutes back on this clock. Let me share my screen. One moment, family. There we go. Okay, our timer is set. Let me get the first question ready. Here we go. All right. So White would like to know, what should homeschool parents know about finding a college for their child?
I'll take that one. It's the
Yes,
same
ma'am.
process. I would say it's the same process as if your student went to the public school down the street. You still got to do the same amount of research. You got to look into what's important to your student. How close to home do they want to be, et cetera. So doing your research, narrowing down that list of colleges that are a good fit. And then once you have narrowed down that list, I would recommend reaching out to those admissions offices and see if there's any special criteria, anything in particular they're looking for as a homeschool student.
All right. Thank you, Stacey. Rutina would like to know, what is the best route when a student is undecided about a major? Who to search for in terms of college? What's the best route?
I'll take that one. So a lot of colleges and universities expect for students to change their major. Freshman year, sophomore year, they realize that the path is going to change. So still continue to do your research and find the best fit, whether it's you want to stay in state or go out of state, whether they have different clubs and organizations that you're interested in. Still do that research, apply for different institutions, but expect that, colleges expect that you're going to change your major. So still go through the same process.
Thank you, Atua. And I would also say, Rutina, if you go on over to Big Future, we have a career quiz you can take. It's about 10 minutes, 60 questions, and that will give you some insight and some interest or majors that you may be interested in. All right, Jerona would like to know, is it helpful to attend community college to offset the price on the 4-year?
I'll take that one.
Mhm.
It can be, definitely, it can be helpful in offsetting that price. But again, it has to be the right move for you. That's a great move for some students where they want to start at a 2-year college and then transfer those credits on to a 4-year. But for other students, it's that they want to start at that 4-year, and that's okay too. Just know that your college journey is your college journey, and it's not necessarily going to look the same for everyone. But yes, that's a very valid reason to look at a 2-year college, because for most students, those first couple of years are going to be your foundational classes anyway before you get into your major. But it has to be a good fit for you.
Thank you, Stacy. This is from Terry. My daughter has only found one school that has her major for the job she wants. Should she still look for other colleges?
I'll take that one. Yes, absolutely. Because you want to ensure that she has a list of schools to choose from. When you limit yourself to one school, let's say, things don't work out and that's not the best fit for the scholar. But we do encourage all scholars to have, me personally, at least 5 to 6 schools, that range, but definitely apply to more than one school.
All right. Thank you, Atua. Audrey would like to know, what should special needs children know about finding a college?
I'll take that one. That's a great question. I think number one, it's important to start working with your team at your school, your student support team. So whether that's your special ed teachers, your counselor, start working with them, looking at whatever your 504 plan might be or your IEP might be. And as you are looking at colleges that are a good fit for you, it's important that you also look at what those school supports are. How is ABC College going to be able to support you so that you're successful in that college? I would think that's probably the most critical thing I would say for students who are special needs.
All right. I love that. Also, the next question that I have is, Thelma, what are your thoughts on a student attending a smaller college with limited majors versus a larger college with more majors, such as engineering?
So I can take that one. I think it's more so about your scholar and your student being successful. Do you want your student to be in a classroom of maybe one professor to 20 people, 20 students? Or they may run the risk of being in a lecture style class with one professor to 200 students. So you definitely want to weigh the pros and the cons of the larger institution versus a smaller institution.
All right. Thank you, Atua. Jackie wants to know, reality, in-state or out-of-state schools? How do I pick?
Again, I think it's after you have gone through the application process, you have those award letters in front of you. If you, I feel that if you have done the research process the way that school counselors tell you to, in terms of thinking about your preferences and what's important to you in terms of what your college experience looks like, you'll have a list that is narrowed down to, like Atua said, 5, 6, 7 schools. Whether they're in state or out of state. And then when you get your award letters, then you can sit those side by side and decide um, if they're all affordable, rank the ones that you like the most. But the most important thing is go through the process. An out of state school can be as affordable as an in state school, depending on what that award letter looks like.
All right. That gets back again, Stacy. Don't take your stuff out of the game yet, right?
Exactly.
All right. Thank you, Stacy. Janet wants to know, what is the minimum GPA, grade point average, for most scholarships?
I'll take that one. Again, it depends. So for federal student aid, to continue to qualify for federal student aid, you need to have at minimum a 2.0 GPA. But for more competitive merit-based scholarships, it may range from a 3.0 or higher. I have seen some scholarships with no GPA requirement. When you're applying for those independent scholarships, they can set their own requirements. So it really depends. But now's the time to do that research and identify those scholarships that you want to apply for, hopefully as a senior, or if you're currently a senior that you want to apply for right now.
All
Can I
right.
add to that, Autumn?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Family, the Big Future scholarships that Autumn was sharing with you, those have no GPA minimum. They're strictly based on students moving through steps that are going to take them through their college and career planning. So that's a great place to start. There's no GPA minimum, and there's no test minimum, no essay, no counselor recommendation, none of that. So I would start there.
Well said. Thank you for sharing. I appreciate you both, Atua and Stacy, on that. Okay, 13 seconds. Let me run this real fast from Pam. Do schools ever create programs? My daughter wants to major in health sciences. Most schools have a biology major, but she doesn't want to major in biology. I wondered if schools will create a program that fits a major.
Real quick, I would just say take that to the department head, that where it might fall under, and talk to them about, see if that is something. I have heard where students do create their programs to a degree. So I think that's just a matter of having a conversation and see what they say.
Whew. Come on, ladies. Can we clap another time? Come on, y'all. Another time. Nicely done. Look, we finished the question right at the end of 8 minutes, okay? Thank you, ladies. All right. Clap it all the way up, okay? So I'm going to share, and as they get ready, take another well-deserved break. All right. I'm looking at the clock. We're going to do one more lightning round in a moment. So Real Talk fam, get your questions in. This time, Atua and Stacy, is going to be just 3 minutes, okay? I feel like y'all have earned that. It's just 3 minutes. But while they're taking their well-deserved break, family, I do want to make sure this is on your radar. And this is especially for our caring adults and our parents who are tapped in right now as you're contemplating how to find colleges you can pay for your teen. I want to ensure you know this. You can connect to even more scholarship opportunities for your student by joining Big Future's free Student Search Service program. Real Talk fam, colleges and scholarship programs across the country rely on this service to find students who are a good fit for their program. If your student is participating in the program and you are not, please encourage your student to sign up over at bigfuture.org/search and add your information to their account. All right. You can also tap that QR code and scan it, and it will take you to there as well. All right, ladies, I believe y'all have had enough rest. Okay. I think we've had enough rest. I think, said the person who was just asking the questions. Okay. All right. I think we need to go ahead. We're going to put 3 more minutes on that clock. Let's make sure the questions are loaded in there. Okay. Let me share my screen one more time. Here's our timer. Okay, make sure I'm ready. Okay, take a deep breath. Here we go. All right, Sally wants to know, when should a student start applying for scholarships?
I'll take that one. Most of them are going to fall in that senior year, junior year. But if you're 9th or 10th grade, you can start looking now. You can go to the Big Future scholarship directory and search, and you can see what scholarships, when you become a junior or senior, that you're interested in. And then when it's time for you to apply, you already have your list and you're good to go.
All right. Thank you, Stacy. Fariba wants to know, what are 3 top tips you would give juniors? Great question, Fariba.
I'll take that one. Junior year is pivotal, as every grade in high school counts, but this is your last opportunity in most cases before you start applying to colleges. Your spring semester of your junior year is so important, but be prepared, be excited, take as many placement tests as you can to grow your score. SAT or ACT, and then get your scholarship list, prepare for those applications when you reach fall semester, and just be excited about the process. We're about to get started next semester, so just get excited about the process.
All right. Thank you, Atua. Shea would like to know, are there any paid internships for high school students?
I'll take that one. That's a great question. Yes, there are lots of opportunities out there for high school students to earn money, whether it's as an internship or working after school, all of which contribute to the skills that you're going to take into college. Some schools have work-based learning programs, so I would encourage you to talk to some of your teachers. Um, Parents, talk to your employers, talk to them, your friends, and see if their employers have such a program. But yes, there is such a thing as paid internships and work for high school students, which
Thank you,
they can put
Stacy.
on their college applications. Yep.
All right, I didn't mean to cut you off. Thank you, Stacy. All right, Hakeem would like to know, is signing up for the National Guard while in high school a good option?
I'll take that one. It can be. It can be. So the National Guard, or if you participate in ROTC, can lead to scholarship dollars for going to school. So if you want to enlist in the armed forces, whether you want to go active duty or reserves, that is an option that some scholars choose to take to help pay for their education, to see the world. So it can be a good opportunity for you.
Ooh, ladies, y'all did that. Y'all did that. Okay, we're gonna clap again. Real Talk fam, y'all have to clap and give it up for both Atua and Stacy. Please show them some love, okay? All right. We want to make sure we get through as many questions as we can because we're family, and that's what family does. All right. So as we get ready to call this event to a close, it's coming to an end, a couple of questions are lingering, just top of mind for me. And Stacy, I want to start with you quickly. What advice, this is real talk, what advice would you give to parents and caring adults about how to find a college you can pay for? Let us know,
I love
please.
that. I love that question. I'm going to answer this question not necessarily as a counselor, but as a parent. Know your child. Know your child. Um, your every student isn't going to have the same journey. So, what are your child's strengths? What are their passions? And then figure out what is the path that helps them pursue that passion. I'll just give a quick example. My daughter, she felt like she had to go the path I went, which was, I have 3 degrees. So she felt a certain amount of pressure, but that's not her thing. Her thing is makeup, and she is so talented at it. So at some point, she figured out she didn't have to go my route, and I encouraged her to go her route, and then that's where she shines. So know your child and learn about that path so they can be successful and happy.
I love that, and I appreciate that honesty, Stacy. Thank you. All right, Atua, what advice would you give to students? Right, we know there may be students, they are on their A game right now, and they're actually hanging out with us right now. What advice would you give to students about how to find a college you can pay for? Quickly, please. All right, I believe you're on mute. Let's see real fast.
My apologies. I would give, start early, and then continue to make your college affordable. So once you make your decision, you're in college, the scholarship search, the work study search should be never ending. Every year, you want to make sure you're applying for scholarships so that you can make your decision more affordable. And to your in the tagline, it said you have to stand on business. You have to own your decision. This is your decision for your future. So be open to advice, but then definitely be confident in the decision that you make and make sure that it's affordable for you and your family.
Did you see that? Thank you, too. When you said stand on business, did y'all see that? Stacy, into my head tilt. That part. Absolutely. Absolutely. Now, Real Talk fam, as promised, our QR codes are right there. So go ahead, tap the QR codes. If you have any more questions about it and you're trying to figure out the research, go ahead and look at what we have on our QR codes for us. And then, family, I want to make sure you have on your radar our Sip and See the Real Tea on HBCUs. Family, I'm so excited about this. Y'all know I live for our Real Talk Tuesdays. I really do. This is going to be the first time ever that we're going to do a Real Talk live from New York City at the Dream Deferred Conference. And you'll be able to watch us in real time and send your questions in real time as well. And that is going to be Sip and See the Real Tea on HBCUs, Tuesday, March 26th. 4:45 p.m. Eastern. Note the time change, Sam, which is 3:45 p.m. Central and 1:45 p.m. on the West. I tell you, Real Talk fam, when I tell you our guest panel, they just did what needed to be done. Okay? They did what needed to be done. Stacy, Atua, on behalf of Big Futures Real Talk and our family, thank you very, very much for all of the wisdom and just being you that you imparted to our community tonight. Fam, if you have any questions and you have another question or you have something else you want to share with us, go ahead and send us an email over at realtalk@collegeboard.org. Illustrious all-star panelist, let's wave goodbye. Real Talk fam, remember, you've got this. You've got this. Bye, y'all.